So what on the front page, which ones on the front page do you want to go over? I'll do as many as I can, and I'm pretty quick, so I'll be able to do a lot of this for you in 20 minutes, okay? Number 5, everyone look at 5. So, and I know it says the red graph. We don't have color printing, so I'm really sorry. But we're going from the parent function here, that's the solid one. What transformations did we do to get from here to the dotted one? And then we're going to write the equation, okay? So let's start with, well, actually, I don't care what order you tell them to me and what happened to it. All right, reflected over y because it's facing the other way. We'll get the order correct once we put it in the equation. Right now, just tell me what happened. There's 2 more things. It went right to, and sometimes I'll kind of like just look at that center point. It went right to, and then down 3. Okay, so now we're going to write the equation. So we're going to take all that, put it in the equation. What's the parent function though? Did it say it in the problem or do we just need to know that? We just need to know that. It's a square root. Good. So just draw yourself like a blank square root and we'll go back and fill it all in. That's kind of like the framework of it. And then we'll just go and put all of these items into the equation. So reflect y. Where does the negative go? And I know it's so hard because it's like I know one's one way and one's the other. Inside. Good. So put a negative inside. Where does the right 2 go? Also inside and kind of backwards. So it'll be an x minus 2, and you must give it a hug to separate it from that negative. A lot of these ones on the front page are multiple choice on the test, which can be helpful and not, if you know what I mean, like, because 3 of the answers are wrong, but like you'll have some choices. And then how do I do a down 3? Good. On the outside, that's the easy one. That's just like tacked on the end. What else on the front page? Go ahead. 3 and 2. Okay, let's do 3 and 6. Then I'll flip to another page. We can come back. I just want to do at least a couple on each page. All right, write the equation of a logarithmic function. So f of x equals, and just put log. Same thing, we're just gonna, like that's the framework. Now we're gonna put everything in. It says horizontal shrink by a 7th. Horizontal means it goes inside and it's backwards. So 7x instead of 1/7. Are we arguing back there? Reflect x means negative on the outside, and then down 9 is a minus. And all these answers, like the whole thing filled in, I'm going to take a picture and post it so you'll be able to see all the answers. Question? I was wondering where you put like behind the log or 9. Since this one was outside, it just goes in front of the whole everything. If it needed to be inside, it would look like this and be like within the parentheses. Okay, that's why the outside ones are easier because it's just in front of the whole business. I am going to erase that though because I don't want to confuse anybody. Okay, so number 6, using this graph, which if you can just dot in the asymptote, that'll help you a lot seeing like how much it shifted. And we want to transform this f of x equals 2 to the x. So what are some things that happened to this graph? Reflected x-axis, so we're going to have a negative out front. And that 2 to the x, because I'm always like, everyone always asks me, where'd you get that from? It's right here. It's just part of the given information. So negative out front. And then one other thing, it shifted down. Careful. I know that's so hard. You want to dot in the asymptote because it's based on that. I get why 4 happens because that's where the point is, but it's based on where that's dotted in. So it is down 3. You can if you would like. You can hug everything. All right, on the second page, what do we want to look at on this one? 7. Okay, what is the parent function? Greatest integer. Vertical stretch by 2 and up 1. So it's going to look like a staircase. Instead of starting at the origin, we're going to go up one and put a point. Like just start there. I feel like what happens in math, and I do like, it's another one of my little, preach at you for a second. People try to do everything all at once, and that's stressful. It stresses you out. Do one thing at a time. I know it went up one, there's a point. And then you can calm down because you're like, oh, I started. You know what I mean? Here's your first step. Looks like a little barbell. Now, to get to the next step, we vertically stretched it by 2. So it's going to be 2 spaces apart. So it's like a staircase that would give you a little bit more of a workout because it's taller. And just show me at least 3 steps. It's kind of like, I usually ask for at least 3 points. Show me at least 3 steps. You can, of course, do more. It's an infinite staircase. Yeah. You always start with the solid one. So, oh, it was the up one. So instead of starting at the origin, I just went up one, and that's where I put the solid point. Unless there's a reflection or something weird, because sometimes then it can be backwards, but I'm not going to do that to you because that gets real weird. Do we need number 9, the linear one? I worry about the lines and stuff because it's been a long time for that. Okay. It's in y equals mx plus b form. You would start up 1, and then how would you do a slope of -3? Down 3, right 1, right? And I always say show at least 3 points. You can do more, of course, but just do at least 3. All right, how about we do one or the other of 10 or 11? And I'm sorry, can you please bold the point, oh, bless you, at the top of the semicircle? I'm just going to write out these points for this. I put a lot of zeros in there for you to help you because 0 is an easy number to manipulate, easier than some other numbers. So I just wrote out that table. Remember, I will give you a grid it will fit on. If yours goes off the grid, you had a whoopsie. Okay? It will fit. I do that on purpose to like, I try as hard as I can to like give you lines to write on so you know how many answers there shall be. And like, I don't know, I try to help you out with that. So let's do, what do we want, 10 or 11? I don't care which one. 10, okay. I think 10 is a good choice because there's a lot of stuff inside for that one and that can be harder. All right, so table of values for this, how we're gonna manipulate it. Actually, everything's inside. So what happens to y? Yeah, nothing, isn't that great? You can even just like copy those over. That's fantastic. So the inside stuff for x, we need to negate x, that's for the reflection. So we'll have a negative x. And now which direction did it move? It went right. So it has to be +4. Just remember it's backwards. Just go, oh yeah, it's backwards. I feel like that was just like the one on the clue game that we just did though, wasn't it? I think it was. Now that was multiple choice, but same thing. So you're going to opposite them and then add 4. Now you can't opposite as 0, that would just be 0 plus 4 is 4. Yes. That technically does mean the same thing. Yeah, I feel, yeah, you do you. I'm gonna write it this way though. Okay. Yeah, a right answer is a right answer. All right, so if you plug in 3, -3 plus 4, 1. -6 plus 4, -2. Negative, oh yeah, I'm just plugging in all these. -9 plus 4 will be -5. -11 plus 4 is -7. Wait, did I do that right? Okay, I'm gonna count on my fingers for a second. Don't ever let anyone tell you you shouldn't count on your fingers. That's why you have them. what they're there for. All right, and then you're just going to plot those. Just make it look like the same thing as the parent function, like a semicircle and like a little triangle there. Let's do 13. Okay. You agree we need it? I got 10 more minutes. I'm going to finish this one and then we'll do like one on the back and we'll be good, okay? Write the equation of a line that goes through these points. The first thing you need is the slope. You can't write any equation without a slope. So we got to find that first. So how do we do a slope? Y2 minus, well, so subtract the y's and then fraction bar, good, it's rise over run. So subtract the y's, that would be 4 minus 5. And then the x's, careful, there's a lot of negatives here. It'll be -7, good, minus negative, so plus 3. All right, let's see what that comes out to. That'll be -1 over -4, which will be 1/4. Negatives cancel. Ooh. Now, when you do point slope, it does not matter which point you use. It does not matter which point you use. Does it matter which point you use? No. Okay. I just use the first one because it's the first one. But just pick one and go with it. Okay. It will be y minus 5 is equal to 1/4 your slope, parenthesis, plus 3. Good. And that's the answer. Isn't that great? That's it. Y equals mx plus b is the annoying one because now we have to mess with that fraction. Okay, so let's distribute. That'll be 1/4 x plus 3/4. And then we're going to add the 5. There's a bunch of ways you can do this, and everyone thinks differently. Some people think of the 3/4 as like 0.75. They'll make that a decimal. Some people write 5 and 3/4 and then fix it. Do you remember how to turn that back into an improper fraction? Like, does anyone remember that? Like 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 would be 23/4. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you got to make friends with fractions because you guys aren't allowed to calculate anymore. Here's the way I usually teach it, and this tends to go well. You want to add 5, but you want it to be in fourths. So how many fourths is a whole 5? 20. Basically, I'm asking you what's 4 times 5. But no matter which way you think of it, you're going to get 23/4. If you wrote 5.75, I would have to give you credit, but I wouldn't be happy. I like fractions better. And then this is your Hoy Vux. Let's go over this because this is just like a write the answer kind of thing. I don't want you to miss it. Zero slope looks like this. Coming with me? I think we're almost at the end of the block. Okay. That would be y equals. And what is the y part of this point? 8. That is literally the answer. Undefined would be this way. Vertical means it's x equals. What's the x part of that point? That's both easy and hard, if you know what I mean, because it's like one's one way and one's the other. So just be careful. Yes, ma'am. Y equals 8. That's the y part of the point. And then x equals. Right, on the back. Here, you're just plugging these in. Let's do C because that's the hardest one. And there was one like this on the clue game as well. Everywhere there's an x, you're going to put in h minus 2. Now, don't write h minus 2 squared. You should just write h minus 2 twice. Good. Okay, you're coming with me on that. So that's the h minus 2 squared minus, and then you're still going to plug in an h minus 2. You're plugging it in everywhere that there's a variable, and then plus 7. This is what I put in the like tedious and maybe kind of annoying, but not difficult. Like you guys can all multiply. So like it's not hard. You just have to make sure you write all your steps. Okay. I will talk you through it. H times H. Beautiful. The outsides are negative 2H. The insides are negative 2H. So altogether, negative 4H. Actually, I think that's the exact same one that was on the clue game, wasn't it? You guys will notice that you will see the same numbers over and over again because when I take away the calculator, I have to give you little numbers. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can use like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's essentially it. So you're going to see the same stuff over and over again. That's the beauty of no calculator. Negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. Then what are we going to do with this? Negate it. It will be negative H plus 2, and then the plus 7 is like, hey, wait for me. And then it's like terms. So the H squared does not have a like term. What's going to go together? Let's see. We'll have negative 5H, and then 4 plus 2 plus 7, 13. I usually get asked, should I factor that? No. If you try to, you will undo what we just did. Don't do that. We will get to factoring. We're not doing that yet. Nor next unit. We'll get to that later. Okay. Let me do one or the other of these. Even, odd, or neither. Do you want A or B? B. Wow. Sorry. Someone said B first. All the answers will be on Schoology. Do you remember what you plug in? What do you plug in? It was this one over here for a clue. Negative X. Do not try to force it to turn out to anything. Just see what happens. If it's the same, what do you conclude? Even. Opposite is odd. That's convenient. And if it's a little bit of each, then it would be neither. Now, when you do a negative x squared, squared means it's going to turn positive. So this will be 3x squared minus 2. Don't lose the square. That's another common thing that happens. People lose the exponent. It's just there. It's just there. I don't know how else to explain that. It's just there. All right, compare that to the original. What do you notice? It's the same, so even. And these ones we can do super quick. You just look at it. If it's symmetric to the y-axis, it's even. The origin is odd, and then neither would be neither.